Jimmer, great to have you back on the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
First and foremost, congratulations for like 20 reasons. And we'll start with the birth of your first child, Wesley. How has life changed for you since welcoming the newest Fredette?
She's been an amazing blessing. I mean, she's obviously trying to eat and sleep as much as she can right now, and I'm trying to do the same thing. So we're having a great time. She's an amazing little girl, and we've loved Whitney and I have loved having her, and we're just figuring this whole parent thing out. But I think we're getting better and better every day, and it's an exciting new chapter every day.
How would you summarize your experience playing basketball in China? I know that's a loaded question, but what were some of the highlights, and how would you summarize that?
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect when I first went over there. Just going to a new country. I'd never played overseas before, lived overseas before, anything like that. So I didn't know what to expect. But the team were really great with getting the athletes.
Jimmer Fredette with us on BYU Sports Nation. Jimmer, you were named the international MVP of the Chinese Basketball Association, 37.6 points per game. At what point did you know you were on pace to do something special overseas?
It was a special season right from the beginning. The first game of the year, I knew that I had come out and prove that I could play in this league and lead the team and get them to where we wanted to get to. I mean, they were. They hadn't made the playoffs in 6 or 7 years before I'd been there, and I wanted to set the tone early to go out and play the best that I could and lead the team right away. So, first game had about 42, 43 points, and, I knew it could be a special season right from there just by how hard our team played, the talent that we had, and, knowing that I was going to be able to have the ball in my hands again and just go out and play to the best of my abilities. So I was really, really excited to be able to have that opportunity, and as soon as that season started, I wanted to have an MVP type season.
So the fans in China call you Jimo Dashen, which means the lonely god or the lonely master. How did you get that nickname, and what was that like? And Jimo kind of works with Jimmer, right? That was convenient.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were calling me, because a lot of people can't say Jimmer, so they say Jimo. That's kind of how they pronounce Jimmer over there. And they said Jimo in Chinese means lonely. And but it means, so at first I thought, I was like, oh, that's not a very great nickname. I'm like a lonely person. I was like, oh, this is great. But then they explained to me it was actually a really positive thing. It's like lonely and on the top by yourself, and no one else can reach your level. And so that was a great compliment. And so then Jimo Dashen means like the lonely master or a lonely god or whatever it is. I try to stay away from the god part, but it's a really cool thing, and it's really stuck. The first time I heard it was from my teammates, and then I started hearing the fans call me it, and then the news reporters and everything were calling me it and saying that was my nickname and how did I like it and everything, and it's stuck ever since.
The Lonely Master with us on BYU Sports Nation, Jimmer Fredette. We talked to Tom Ferry, a reporter for ESPN. You have an Outside the Lines piece airing tomorrow that is featuring your time in China and the success you had as a basketball player over there. And he called it, Jimmermania in China. What was that like for you to be embraced and the exposure that you got in a foreign country?
Yeah, no, it was a really amazing experience. Obviously, there's 1.4 billion people in China, and in Shanghai itself, there's 33 million people there. So I mean, it's just a massive city, and as you guys know, it's a basketball crazy nation. They love basketball. There's like 500 million basketball fans there. So they keep tabs with their Chinese players in the CBA, and obviously they love the NBA. So once, and Shanghai being the second biggest city in China, and they haven't been good in a while, since we were able to start having a good season and beating some of these teams that we hadn't beaten before, and some of these teams that, were top in the leagues and had some really great players, people started to notice us. And we started to have sellout crowds, and the city really got behind us. It was a really difficult ticket for people to get. And, it just kept growing and growing throughout the season. And, I kept having great games and just playing the way that I played. And, and our team was winning, so it was kind of like a perfect storm again, and people just really grabbed onto it, and kind of a second coming of Jimmermania, which was really, really fun. And, I was grateful to be a part of it. And the people over there just, they're very, very supportive, very positive. And, it was a very fun experience.
Jimmer, I've heard, I know you couldn't proselytize, proselyte in China, yet people would show up at church, and there were some questions I heard as to whether you were proselytizing or not, and you're like, no, I haven't. And they would just show up at an LDS church. Can you clarify or tell us any stories there?
So there was a lot of great, missionary experiences I was able to have over there. People definitely would show up, to the church and ask, if this was the church that I went to. But the thing about it is that, over there, if a Chinese person comes to the American or expat ward, you can't let them come in. You have to direct them to the Chinese ward. So you can't, like you said, you can't proselyte or anything like that over there. But I had some great experiences. I had a lot of members of the church that actually came up to me and went on business meetings with Chinese people that, in Shanghai or in Beijing or wherever it was. And the Chinese people found out that they were Mormon, and then they would always be like, oh, so you're the member of Jimmer's church. And so they know that I'm Mormon over there, and they knew that there's a little something different about me, as a foreigner coming over to play, and they grab onto that type of stuff, and it was a really awesome experience. I think that's the greatest, experience that I had over there, was to be able to kind of shine a good light on the church, besides the basketball part.
Fantastic stuff. Jimmer Fredette with us on BYU Sports Nation, 2011 National Player of the Year and 2017 International MVP for the Chinese Basketball Association. We learned that there are a lot of different barriers you face when it comes to keeping contact with the outside world, specifically no Twitter and Facebook allowed in China. So how do you keep contact with BYU Sports and your friends and things like that when you're not allowed to access those type of social media platforms?
Yeah, that's the biggest challenge. I needed to try to listen to you guys, and I wasn't able to all the time.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
But I was trying. I'll tell you one thing. They have things called VPN over there. So basically, it's like a router that you can kind of circumnavigate the Chinese internet and use American internet or whatever internet that you want to use.
We won't tell China this happened either.
Say it again?
We won't tell China this happened either.
Oh, yeah, you don't tell anybody. I had a whole setup in my place. I got ESPN and everything, and so I had a good setup. But I had this router. So when I was in my apartment, I was able to kind of get I get on Twitter and on Instagram and everything, and kind of keep up with everybody. When I was outside of the apartment, it was a lot harder. So I just kind of did all my research and talking to people and everything when I was back at the place. So it worked out really well. They had a great setup for me. They knew that I needed something like that, so they helped me set that up. And that's kind of how you circumnavigate it. But don't tell anybody.
yeah. Good thing this isn't on TV or radio. We're cool, man. We're cool. Hey,
no, I'm just kidding.
when Wesley was born, I believe Whitney was induced at 37 weeks, and you were in the middle of the playoffs. Yep. Can you describe to us how the timing worked out for you to fly back and be there for the birth of your child and then go back to China?
Yeah, it actually worked out perfectly, better than we had expected. Obviously her due date was until March 12th, and she ended up being induced on February 23rd, which ended up working out really well because my last game of the season was February 19th. So after the last game of the season, I was able to fly back and be here with her for the first couple of days, and then bring her to the hospital and everything. But I had to leave on the 24th at 5 p.m. to go back to China because I had a game on the 26th in China, a playoff game, or a second playoff game. I missed the first one. So, she got induced on the morning of the 23rd, and she ended up having the baby at 1:46 p.m. on the 24th. So I was able to see the birth and then hang out with Wesley and Whitney for about 3 hours, and then I hopped on a plane and went to China, got in China on the 26th morning, and played a game that night. and playoff game that night. So it was a crazy experience. I mean, I was exhausted. I didn't sleep for probably 3 days straight. But, it worked out well. We were able to win that game and move forward and keep playing in the playoffs and do well. And I was able to see the birds. So it ended up working out perfectly. But it was one of the crazy experiences I've ever had.
That's amazing.
I'm having serious anxiety for you right now thinking about that, Jimmer.
That's an amazing story.
It was crazy. We didn't think that she was going to have the baby before I left. And then, I think, we were blessed to be able to have that opportunity, and I was able to see it. And then, I don't know if anybody's ever, made it to China in the morning from a U.S. trip and then play that night.
Breaking some barriers.
You thought going to UNLV was hard. Something, you know what I mean? Like, come on, going to China.
Exactly.
What's next for you? Do you want to play in China again next year? Do you still want to try and take a crack at the NBA?
It's all about finding the right opportunity for me. I have a great opportunity in China for sure. I know I could go back, and I think the opportunity to make money over there is great, and obviously the fans are awesome. I enjoyed playing over there. The city is great. I feel comfortable playing over there if I were to go back over, but if there's an NBA situation that comes about that looks like it's going to be really promising, and I'm going to be able to get the type of playing time that I want and be in a good situation, then obviously that would be an awesome situation as well. So, I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm still trying to weigh my options. Obviously, it's very early in summer, so we'll continue to talk with different teams and see what else is out there. But if I do go back to China, I think I'm in a great situation. I think if I go back to the NBA, it'll be a situation that I like. So I think I'm in a good spot right now. I'm really pleased with it. Going over to China was an amazing blessing and something that has really helped my career out.
What kind of timeline are you on in terms of making that decision, Jimmer?
No real timeline. We have all summer. I think we're going to try to negotiate as much as we can with both sides and figure out the best deal. And whenever we feel like we have the deal that we want in either place, then we'll pull the trigger. So it's not necessarily a timeline. Obviously, free agency in the NBA, you can't sign with a team until July. But you can have talks with teams and figure things out if you wanted to beforehand. So we'll see what happens, but, no real timeline.
Well, good luck with that. And we look forward to the Outside the Lines piece tomorrow on ESPN, 9 a.m. Eastern. And, of course, I know you run a bunch of camps during the summer. Can you tell us about some of those?
Yeah, no, so it'll be great. We're having, our 3-on-3 basketball tournament, for my foundation there in Utah with Generosity. And
I played in that last year.
It'll be yeah, I know you guys did. It was a sight to see, I'll tell you that. It was great. I really, that's the best part about it, going over there in the noontime to watch the older guys play. I guess I could say the older guys, but I hope you guys can play again. It was a lot of fun. But it's in mid-June, the 16th to 17th weekend. It'll be a lot of fun. So register, get your 3-on-3 team ready. I'll be there cheering everybody on and seeing how things go. So, I'm really excited about it again.
Jimmer, congratulations again on the birth of your daughter, Wesley, to you and Whitney, and for your success in the Chinese Basketball Association and everything you have going for you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and we know how busy you are, so thanks for the time.
Yeah, thanks, Jeremy. I appreciate you guys. Spencer and Jeremy, you guys are the best.
All right,
Thanks, Jimmer.
Come visit us in Studio B next time, huh?
Yeah, one of these in the summer, maybe we'll get it done.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Jimmer.
Yeah, no problem, guys. See ya.